Hey guys, welcome once again to a new installment in our YOUmedia Virtual Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Shamir, and we have a very special guest um, into for you guys today. So before we jump on board, and this is also sponsored by the Miami-Dade Public Library System. All right. So before we jump in, we're gonna go ahead and everyone introduce themselves, and then I'll go ahead and introduce our guests.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Vinny here.
Hey, what's up? It's Yanni here.
That's for Yanni. It's your boy, Chris.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm an instructor.
And I'm Galen, and I'm a student at South Dade YOUmedia. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so think there. Almost. All right, and for today, we have a very special guest, one of my dear friends, someone I've known and worked with for I would say 5 to 7 years. I don't even know.
Wow.
Something like that. And she's creative director, and her name is Jolisa Clark. And she has her own branding company called Dream Loud Creations. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Jolisa, go ahead, introduce yourselves and kind of tell us what you do.
So what's up, everybody? I'm Jolisa Clark. I own Dream Loud Creations, and I've been doing this for about maybe 6 or 7 years. So I do marketing, film, photography, content creation, graphic design, web design, a little bit of everything of the arts.
That is awesome. So we'll go ahead and go top to our first question. So, sorry, I almost forgot. What inspired you to pursue a career in directing and creating content?
So what inspired me was in high school, I was always into arts and stuff, but the high school I went to, it didn't offer any art. So I took maybe one art class and they canceled it. And then ever since then, I always try to go on the internet and be inspired by different types of art and getting into different things. I was editing things on my phone. And ever since then, that inspired me to continue to be creative.
Cool.
I don't want to go too far because it's about to go into the next question.
No, you're good. Go ahead. You're free. Do you remember what phone app you used to edit?
I don't even remember, but I remember in 2011, I signed up for Instagram way back then. It was just like a little editing app. It wasn't even a social app back then.
Oh, so it was Instagram.
Yeah.
Where you cut. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool. I mean, I remember my first editing software was Sony Vegas Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it was at the time, I'm not proud of it, but I illegally downloaded it. But I just want to say this, I paid my dues later on. So either way, teens, don't illegally download anything. We don't that stuff.
We don't sponsor pirating.
Yeah, none of that pirate stuff. But yeah, I remember Sony Vegas was so easy to just to cut clips around. And then later when I was introduced to Movie Maker. But anything that I could grab, whether it's home footage or just random clips of my family recording clips from me growing up or something like that, I would try to edit that. And nowadays when you see kids or teenagers trying to edit they can either use crazy apps on your phone. There's so many free apps that you can just use to just cut clips around, or obviously at the library we have, at our spaces we have Adobe, the Creative Suite, or most high schools nowadays offer some sort of art program or some sort of TV film production classes. So it's funny how like things have changed, like over time. And that kind of like leads to like the next question is like, did you pursue some sort of like degree in like filmmaking or video production in college? And like what's your like experience like after, I guess, high school?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention in high school, I actually did join TV production. And in the editing room, I was like the only girl. So in editing room, I was trying to learn Final Cut Pro. But like I said, like the classes ended up being really not taught. So it was just like a free class where we just sit around and do nothing. So it's like I couldn't really tap into that potential. So after high school, I was thinking like what I want to go to college for. And I just said, in my mind, I said, I want to go to college for web design because it makes the most money. And I was just going for that. So I went to college for web design. And in college for web design, I went to Art Institute Fort Lauderdale. And in that, I realized I took an elective class on film. And for my project, I did a music video. And that's where I discovered like, oh, I kind of like doing this. And I'm actually good at it. And that's what led me into doing music videos. And then the next year, well, once I got my degree at Fort Lauderdale, I went to Art Institute of Miami. And when I went there, I went for graphic design because film was too expensive for me to, take that class. So, so after that, I never went to school for film. I learned all on experience.
That's amazing.
That is.
I had a question. Growing up, do you have any like staple favorite music videos that you just admire?
To be honest, back then I wasn't even into music videos like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you didn't watch MTV?
I did. I was into music and stuff, but like I just wasn't into like music videos. So it was like something I just stumbled upon. Like, okay, I actually really like the making of this.
That's amazing.
Have you always been like somebody that likes to, like solve problems and be kind of like hands-on, going out there? Because I know, you have to be kind of aggressive in the way that, not aggressive, but assertive in the way that you set up shoots and everything when you're shooting. Has that been like a role that you take, like even just like with your friends, or are you more like shy, like behind the scenes? And how do you kind of like, what do you have to work on in yourself to be better at your craft?
Right. So I'm an introvert. So me being an introvert, my work puts me in a different space where I have to step out of that shell. So it definitely has. So during shoots and stuff, I ended up learning like, okay, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to be more assertive. I got to be more aggressive to get people in line. So it definitely helped me out of getting out of my shell of being an introvert. Because there are some introverts out there that are super creative, but sometimes we could get the best of ourselves.
That kind of ties in with the next question as to when you decided to freelance full time and create Dream Loud Creations, were there any like roadblocks that you had to face like creating that? I know you just mentioned like being an introvert, it kind of helped you get out of your shell. Were there any other roadblocks that kind of you had to go through?
Yeah,
creating your brand.
Yeah, getting more equipment. Like I was shooting music videos even when I was in college. So sometimes I would have to focus on my schoolwork and do music videos at the same time, or commercials or whatever I was doing at that time. So I'm a college student. I'm trying to save up to get better gear to create better content. So that was a big struggle when I was in college, to be honest. And once I got out of college, I had more free time to really like go all in with my work, and it started bringing in income where I can afford to upgrade.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I remember that, like me personally being a photographer, wanting to be a photographer. I was in college at the time in Miami-Dade, and I remember like I don't think I had a job at the time. I think I had like a little part-time, but it wasn't. I wasn't getting like money like that, maybe like 200
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. So it was a struggle, like saving up, because I know cameras are like 500 plus like money. So what I did, I don't know, they advise you not to do this, but I use my financial aid refund check to invest in my first camera, which I don't regret. But
yeah, a lot of creatives has done that. Like they use their refund checks to fund, you know, their gear, but I didn't have that option.
Because AI is like expensive.
Yep.
Really expensive.
I didn't have that option.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, you went to the art institute?
Yeah. Both of them, Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
Two of our coworkers went there.
Yeah.
Connie and Mike. Do you know them?
Nope.
Connie Reyes and Mike Hugie. Because if you met either one of them, you can't forget.
Nah.
Maybe if you see off the other face.
What?
What major?
Connie majored, I think, in motion graphics.
Yeah.
Didn't they work in a place? Was there a place there where you could rent out equipment at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the
I
school.
think that's where they worked.
They worked. Yeah, they worked there.
Yeah, they worked there.
Cool. Not sure. I've never heard of it.
Cool. So moving on. Going up in your craft, were there any particular like filmmakers or content creators that has played a major influence in your work?
Definitely. Once I started getting into creative content and filmmaking even more, I started to look up to people like Jacob Owens, YC Imogen, Creative Ryan, and it was this one female that really that caught my eye. Her name is Chassie Corset, and from that moment, like I have never seen a female filmmaker. So she was the first filmmaker I ever seen, and she was Black, African American. So she was the one that showed me like, wow, I could really do this in this male dominant industry. So, and then, you know, Ava DuVernay is definitely a role model. This is a bunch more, but yeah.
So the Shava DuVernay, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and you know, in the future it's gonna be Jolisa. They're gonna be like, man, Jolisa, she inspired me.
Right. I just wanted to know what the Shava, what like music video, like big music video did she do? Because I haven't heard of her.
Who, Ava? She's not.
No, I've heard of Ava, the other one.
Chassie Corset. She doesn't work with big artists, but she work with like indie artists that are signed to like major labels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with like Jacob Owens.
Mm-hmm.
He's really big in like video. Matt Alonso, I think that's his name. These guys, like, I feel like right now, and like for any sort of like content creator, music director, like DP editor, like these guys are sort of like champion, you know, hey, like you can start off on your own. Like obviously a lot of people start off on their own, but these guys aren't like landing like crazy big, you know, music videos, but they sort of are, you know, and, you know, to see like their style of how they shoot, you know, they're all about like handheld and like fast movement, you know, that guerrilla style of shooting, like really is like, not that nobody does it, but they always find a way to like incorporate their own style. You know, I think Jacob Owens does like, he has like a bunch of companies on his name, but one of like the cool things that he does, I don't know if you've noticed or seen it, it's this one with like a fish. He uses like a fish tank.
Oh yeah.
The camera inside the fish tank, and then he'll go in the pool or like some sort of like water with it, instead of buying an underwater gear for your camera, so that you see that, and then like everyone does it in their music video. So those kind of things are kind of like cool to, you know, like if you can come up with that sort of stuff and then put that in your music video, you know that's gonna like blow up, you know. So you're always trying to look for that new sort of look
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what you just mentioned, like I definitely seen that, and I definitely got inspired. So instead of putting the camera in the fish tank with the to get like a water look, what I did, I had my artists put their head in the fish tank with the water as if we were underwater. And what
Saw
we
that.
did, oh, you saw
That
it?
was with Surfer Wolf.
Yeah.
I saw that clip. I was like, woo.
So we placed it on top of a glass, and what I did was I filmed it from like under the table, like a glass table, so I could get those type of shots. So I definitely was inspired by Jacob Owens to flip that and make it some into something else.
That's dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never heard of Jacob Owens. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry.
yeah.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna search him up right now.
You have to.
Cool. So I want to also ask, like when it comes to, this, like an artist or some sort of like manager or company, like how does that process go for someone reaching out to your company, like Dream Loud? Like they just, DM you on Instagram, or like, somebody from somebody, like how does that process work for, doing like a project video or some sort of like film project? Like how does that start for you, now that you're like, you're full-time doing this?
So it happened many different ways. It could start from a DM and then lead to the email. It could start from the email and never a DM. It could start from so just recently I just had somebody email me from a label. So they work at a label and they reached out for their artists. And then sometimes artists that don't have like a team, they'll reach out personally.
Yeah,
So
I was wondering, like, because a lot of like what I typically see, like for for like people that are doing music videos that are, at least that are starting, it's harder for a record label to reach out to them. It's always the artist, like, yo, could you, hook it up, and do this. And in our space, we have a lot of, aspiring artists, and whether they know somebody that can do it for them, or they're, they have to reach out to someone, it's usually through DM,
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff works, like you're getting experience from that. And then like I kind of wanted to follow up with another question, is that like, have you gotten like those emails or like those DMs from artists that, again, for me, like I would think that work is work, but have you had to reject certain artists, or even let's say you did shoot something for them, but you don't even like you're not putting your name on it because you're kind of like, dude, like this was, also sort of like a favor, or like helping them out in this process. Just because just as, those things happen, like might be getting like random DMs and you're like, sorry, man, like I need my level of like, music video to be here, and what you're asking might be too much or not what I agree with. You know what I mean? So has that happened, in your experience or in the past?
Of course. So you'll have people who will reach out and say, hey, I only got this much of a budget. And sometimes I'll work with them if the music is like, thing about us creators, I think we have to take work that we honestly really love. But sometimes we get in a position where our bills still need to be paid. So we'll just do it. And like you said, sometimes we won't even put our name on it. And that's just the real facts of being a creative. Sometimes when you're out here grinding, we're going to do projects that we don't necessarily love to do. So we're just going to do it. But necessarily we don't even want to put our name on those type of projects. So that's definitely has came across a bunch of times.
Another question I think Vinny was kind of hitting on. So if, by the way, if an artist, Chris Miller G, DMs you, right? Let's just say an artist, Chris Miller G. Is there like a level of professionalism you're expecting in a DM, which I thought Vinny was kind of hinting at too? Like if they just simply DM, hey, what's up? Can you do a music video for me? Versus, hey, this is who I am. I saw your work. Could you just give some advice especially for our teens who are going to DM these people, how to DM them properly?
I mean, you definitely want to come correct, because there's a difference in a conversation when you come correct. Like you said, like not just like, hey, I need a music video, and you have no details. It's like, okay, you need a music video. Like it takes out, okay, now I have to text you and say, what's your budget or what's the music video, when you could have just, from the first time you email somebody, you wanna state all the details of what it is, so it won't be too much back and forth, and then it can lead to the email. Definitely.
Be informative. Let them know upfront already. Even the first message, let them know, like, hey, this is what I'm
all
trying to look
details.
for.
I had a question kind of on the other side, but similar. Have you ever been kind of like strategizing like where you're trying to go as a creative, and maybe looking at certain labels, certain artists that are on a label and like their style, and thinking, I want to get into this, and you ever just go out on a limb and say an artist just released an EP or album, and it's their first on a label, and they're like local to Florida or something. Have you ever been like, hey, I really like your work, and I have an idea for this music video, and like send them a treatment or an idea, or say, you know, are you planning on doing a music video? Because I have some ideas.
Right. So I never experienced that with an artist on a label, but I have experienced what you're talking about. So a little while back, I wanted to start getting more into pop music videos, because rap music videos, it was like getting repetitive to me. And I wanted to challenge myself to do even more genres, right? So I reached out to this artist, Bianca J, and she does kind of pop music, R&B music. And I reached out to her. Well, actually, I scoped her page out first, and then I listened to her music. And once I found the song that I really liked, I reached out to her and say, hey, like, I love this song. I would love to shoot a music video for it. Here are my ideas. And she was all down for it. And once she was all down for it, to see where the process of us just brainstorming and ideas that we came across, to see that actually translated in the music video was just amazing.
Amazing.
That dream was a loud creation.
Yeah.
I have a question. So if you could work with any artist, it could be a big artist, who is like your dream person to work with?
Big Sean.
Big Sean.
Yeah, I love Big Sean. Like, from his music, from his videos, everything. Like, I love Big Sean. So I would love to really, really do a music video for Big Sean.
What about a woman? Who would you choose?
Woman. I feel like I would work with a lot, but Beyonce.
I knew it
too.
I mean, who don't want to work with Beyonce?
No.
It's true. It's true.
That's true. So speaking of like working with artists, let's talk, or you could dive in, like, what is your creative process when like interacting with like the artists that you're doing the music video for? Because before, when I introduced you to the team, a particular artist or music video you did was with Kaiju the Unconquerable. Hope I said it right. And I don't know, I find his music videos, like, out of all the artists he worked with, I find his cool because he incorporates, because he's a rap artist, he loves rap, but he also loves anime, and how he kind of incorporates both those worlds together. So I want to know, like, what was like your process, especially with working with the artists like that?
So the process with working with Kaiju is very interesting, I would say. So he'll come out with this idea. He'll say, hey, like, this is, because with Kaiju, out of all the artists, he's like the only artist that I work with so far that he's really very hands-on, like from beginning to the end. So me and him actually edit the whole video together. So I don't do that with artists. Like, I don't sit with them and edit. Like, that's the only artist that I sit with and edit music videos, because like each scene is just so particular that we have to be together. So with him, like you said, he's into anime. When I started working with him, I'm not into anime. I don't know nothing about anime. So like he introduced me into like, okay, this is the style of anime, this is what we have to do. So being with him, it taught me a lot of things of how to mix different medias inside of a music video. So like anime, art, graphics, even what's the Chinese name that like graphics?
Manuscript? Like
Um,
calligraphy, manuscript?
I don't remember the name. Yes, that he introduced me to that. So learning the different, what those mean. So I definitely dived in with him to experience even more on a like bigger level.
And what'd you say?
Those music videos were kind of my favorites too. I was looking at them like, what? Like,
yeah,
crazy.
those are like sometimes it's stressful days because a lot of stuff do not go right as we plan. So sometimes it's very stressful to and we have to deal with those problems and come up with fast solutions on the spot.
And did you guys, was that in New York or was that? I'm sorry, I thought it was like in the city. There was like
the
a city.
Ultraman
It was Ultraman, I think. Yeah.
All our videos has been shot in Miami, Florida.
Yeah. I think the Ultraman one you're talking about the scenery was shot in the Brickell
City
City Center.
In Brickell City Center. And it was shot downtown.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because I was gonna ask like, how do you go about like location scouting? Do you have somebody that goes with you, or like is it you that does that? Like how do you scope those places out? And once you find those spots, like are those spots like public places that you can go and shoot, or do you have to get permits, or some sort of way that you have a contract with the land, like whoever owns that building to like shoot there? Like how does that process go for when you're in pre-production for that section?
Yeah, so for location scouting, it is many different ways. So I'll be just going around looking for spots, whatever the artist needs. So it'll be that going around, going on a car ride. And sometimes even when I'm just not even looking for locations, if I'm just on the way to the store and I see a cool spot, I always keep it in the back of my mind. It's like us creators, we always creating whether we want to or not. It's always something in the back of our mind. And then another way to location scout is Google Maps. So if you can't physically go there, we have Google Maps where you could look at the street view and see if this will work or not. And then also it'll just be from recommendation. You ask a creative friend like, hey, do you know a desert spot, or does Miami have some hill or that we don't know about, or a homestead or somewhere, and try to find a location that fits the vibe that you want.
That's so funny you say that, because like Miami is the most, it's crazy flat, and everyone's always trying to look for something like unique about it, so that it just shows like that, that what where you shot is not, it's not easy for the eye, at least for us, to see like, oh, I know that's Miami, so that I think location scouting is like a huge, like a huge part of music videos that like sets yourself like to the other, bar, because you don't want to see a music video you're like, oh, I know where that is, and be like, like, oh,
that's Seven to Revolve.
Exactly.
And to answer your question from earlier, I forgot about permits and stuff. So most of us creators, we just trespass basically.
Let's go.
We trespass until we get caught. So that's for the most part, we trespass, but I'm not promoting that. But yeah, most of the time, if we want to, like just recently we shot on a farm kind of with a horse, and we trespassed, but then we ended up running into the owner, and he said it was okay, and he let us ride around on his horse, shoot with his horse. So
wow, that's nice.
So are you So are you a one-woman show? Do you ever have teens or students that DM you wanting to shadow you on your projects?
Definitely. So for bigger, there are projects where I can just do by myself, but I would love to always have at least me and someone else, because you always want an extra eye, you always want an extra help, and never be alone. So for bigger projects, definitely have a bigger team. If the budget, can pay everyone to be there. Definitely.
Nice.
Cool.
Can I ask a question? So
Yeah, go.
well, did you answer this earlier? Which music video that you've done so far has been your favorite? I don't know if it's gonna put some of your artists on blast or not, but which music video did you enjoy the best? And maybe because how it came out, or maybe because of the process, the experience. I don't know.
Can I name my top 2?
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
But out of that top 2, there has to be a top 1.
Okay. Top 1 definitely has to be one of Kaiju videos, but I don't know which one. Like, they're all dope.
They're all unique.
Yeah, they're all unique in their own way. So it definitely has to be one of his videos.
It's a Grand Theft Auto. You made a Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that
right?
was recent. That was Do Rags to Riches. I can't say which one of his is my favorite, but my second top 2 would be Giovanni X ICU music video.
Gotta see that one. Well, what is it called?
Giovanni X.
That's the title of the song?
ICU is the title of the song.
Okay.
Just the letters.
Okay.
Okay. So next question I want to ask is, to you personally, like, what makes a music video great to you?
To me, what makes a music video great is honestly telling a story. And not just the ones where me and Kaiju do it, where it actually tells a story. There's some music videos where it's not necessarily like a storyline, but like just if you see, let's say, an artist in this grunge looking location, but like she has on very high fashion clothes, that tells a story in a sense. So I love music videos that tells a story. And color. The color gotta be on point. color correction and color grading gotta be on point.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
That blue and teal.
Can I ask a question on that? Especially on wow, I forgot his name. The Kaiju. Is there like, do you do After Effects too?
Some of them.
What?
But
so
most of them in Premiere Pro.
Okay.
But do you shoot with flat so that you can color correct it more?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that was really, really amazing quality that your camera is super cinematic. Just like
Thank you.
I don't know what she just said, but yeah, they look good.
And it's cool because like you not only wear like the hat of a director or a DP, but you're also like thinking like as an editor, so you have to make sure everything is set up right for your editors. Even though if you aren't going to edit, the DP or the director is doing that.
Yeah.
But if you're already doing all that job, like all those jobs, it even sets you up for something better. And kind of like tying in, like, out of all the roles that you can play in a music video, what's your favorite? If it's director, DP, like I don't even know if besides editor, like other jobs that you've done, but out of everything that you've worked in, which one's your favorite and why?
Directing. Because you get to see, with directing, and when I say directing too, I mean like really stepping back and not even holding the camera, like really focusing and seeing the bigger picture and seeing your vision become to life, or making an artist's vision come to life.
Mm-hmm.
So directing definitely has to be my favorite position. My second favorite would have to be lighting.
What?
Yeah.
Why lighting?
I love colors. It's like when you put a blue and orange together, or a purple and an orange together, you know it's gonna come out perfect. Or a blue and green. Like, I just love colors and see how they come out.
I can see that in your music videos, especially with certain those lighting bulbs that you guys have use in the background.
The light tubes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, colors really like help set the vibe of the music video. Like, especially like us in YOUmedia, like a lot of times we help out teens. You know, they want to shoot their personal music videos, and I think some of like the best music videos were definitely ones where we like use color gels and stuff like that to kind of make it, just makes the video just pop like visually.
And I think that's also cool because like it's important to know how to light different people's complexions, especially like Black and brown people with darker skin complexions. The coloring isn't always the best for them in photo shoots and films. And I was actually just speaking to someone who was inspired by Issa Rae's Insecure season 1. She used a lot of blues because it reflected well off of like dark melanated skin complexions, and they were inspired by that. So that's cool.
That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess, what color would shine best in my skin complexion?
You really trying to get this video?
I'm playing. No, but I do have a serious question. And we've talked about this before with our teens as far as diversifying, because to me, it seems that you're very diverse in your talents. I mean, it takes a lot to direct, lighting, and then editing. And I'm sure there's other roles that we didn't elaborate just yet. But would you encourage our teens and anybody that it is important to like step your foot into everything that you can? Or is that not the case? What do you think?
I think it's important to step into every single position, because one, when you start out, you're gonna have to do everything yourself. You're gonna have to be the director, you're gonna have to be the DP and hold the camera and shoot it, you're gonna have to be the editor, you're gonna have to be the colorist, you're gonna have to be your lighting, grip. You have to know how to do everything. I think because it's better too, once you get in the position of directing, you know if someone is doing their job or not because you've done it before.
That's a really good point. Yeah, for real. That's awesome. Well, I don't know if we have any other last questions. If not, we'll go ahead.
Oh yeah, I do. Can wait? Hold on. I think this is just as good. So, and one of my experiences, and I don't know if this ever happened to you, working with like friends, people you're really cool with. Does that ever get in the way of how productive the music video could come out? So for example, and I know our teens, they're gonna probably connect with somebody they know. Mm-hmm. What's your advice on that? Have you ever had to, your homegirl, homeboy come? Has there been issues with that? Or Sure.
I would say at first have clear-cut communication at the beginning, because you don't want to find yourself, and I had found myself in this position when I first started out. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you do one thing for a favor or for free, and then they asking you to do more and more and more that you really haven't even agreed on. And then you're in a position where it's like I really want to work with you, but now it's like you're not paying me and different things like that. You don't want to end up in that position. Yeah. So it's best to just have clear communication. And like I said with the pop artist earlier, Bianca Jade, like I made it clear for her, like, hey, like I want to do this one music video for you for free. And after we did that, she never asked for me to do another music video because I had made it clear. Then she had another super dope song, and I said, hey, I want to do this one too. So make sure when you want to do projects for, you know, artists, make sure it's on your terms and not theirs.
Well, I hope these teens, they listen to this.
Yes.
For
Bars.
real. That is so true. Because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes, I know, Jolisa, you and me have experienced this. You know, sometimes teens will come up to you wanting a video and they're expecting like this big Steven Spielberg production. you know?
Jacob Owens.
Yeah, like Jacob Owens. And it's like, when you ask like for budget and stuff like that, I'm like, oh.
It's not up to par with the vision.
Exactly. And I think that's also another important thing, you know, to definitely be upfront with like, okay, budgeting, you know, what could we do, what can't we do, you know. So yeah, communication, at the end of the day, if the teens get anything, communication is key.
It definitely is.
For sure. So Jolisa, like, thank you so much. One more question before we, you know, we don't want to take up too much of your time, but could you tell us, if you can, like any upcoming projects you got coming up, and also where we could find you on social media?
Definitely. So one dope project I do have coming up, my first Spanish music video I'm gonna do.
Oh.
So I'm super proud of that. Like I really want to dive into that market. So, you know, it was supposed to be done before Corona season, but you know, let's see when we'll do it. But yeah, that's one project that I'm really super happy to do once all of this is over. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dreamlight Creations. You can find me on Facebook at Dreamlight Creations, but I also have a personal page, Jolisa Clark, Dreamlight Creations.
All right, you heard her. Dreamlight Creations, every platform. All right, Chris, were you about to say something? Because you look like you was gonna.
Oh, well, yeah, I just wanted to thank you for coming on. And I even learned from this. I took some nuggets from this, so thank you.
Definitely.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It was nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so with that being said, it's a wrap. We're wrapping up this virtual podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely join us again Monday.
Oh, close Monday.
We're close.
Oh,
Oh,
we're close.
snap. Oh, snap.
It's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
You'll cut that out. Edit
got
that out. So Monday we are not open because it's Memorial Day. So
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Can I come visit one day?
What?
Yes.
What? Come through. What?
You're more than welcome.
For sure.
We'd love to have you come and do a guest workshop, or just come and if anytime you come, we'll, you know, sit down, introduce you, and you can show some of your videos.
Okay, cool. I would love that.
We have 3
for sure.
locations, so we have to give you that information.
Okay.
Maybe having you bounce around, so at least 2 out of 3.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Thank you for offering.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so I guess that's it, guys. Peace out. See you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Later.